Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Dylan Silver, and today on the show I have a data scientist, AI philosopher, coming from 15 years in big data and AI solutions. We're going to be talking about an interesting project that he has going on in Delaware today called One Lake Drive. Mudassar Malik, welcome to the show.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
I always like to start off at the top of the show by asking folks how they thought about getting into the real estate space.
So I actually got into it by accident to some extent because my house burnt down, like quite literally. But I'd always, tinkered around with bathrooms and kitchens. This was my first opportunity to tinker with the design of an entire house.
And so was it when you faced that circumstance, of course, sorry to hear that you went through that. That's, of course, very, very difficult. Were you
Everyone
thinking
made it out alive.
Yeah,
So that's the most important grace of God,
exactly.
Things that are replaceable. Life is not.
When that happened, were you thinking about embarking on this project, or was that really the impetus for the project itself?
I think at that time I was just worried if the insurance was going to cover it because the fire, the cause of it was a sauna I had built in the basement.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, are they not going to cover my insurance? I'll go bankrupt immediately.
Sure. And so you we talked a little bit before hopping on here. You have a really interesting idea, which is combining self-sufficiency with land as opposed to suburbia, with also this idea of being a philosophical, multi cultural, or bringing in aspects of different cultures landscape. Very interesting concept.
So I guess let me introduce it a little bit more eloquently from my perspective. So after my house burns down, that summer I buy a new house with the insurance money. I get my family and my wife squared away, make sure that they have a roof over their head. And that summer is when the northern smoke from the Canadian wildfires had blanketed the entire East Coast.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, okay, well, Biden's propping all this Build Back Better, but we're still building suburbia as if this smoke and these floodings are never going to impact us over here. And well, isn't that what Hollywood is doing? The guys who sold us the white picket fence dream? It's literally going up in flames because it's not sustainable to the environment. And I grew up in Philly, where they signed the treaty between William Penn and the Native Americans to build the first settlement when the Europeans first got here. And you look at everything the European settlers did after they got to America, you're like, oh, they did all that to the environment and didn't expect any kind of pushback.
Yeah.
Really?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And so you have this idea, which we talked about a little bit before hopping on here, about creating a self-sufficient environment, which I think,
Right.
living on a ranch out here in Dallas, I tend to think is a good thing. Versus, it also too, not even to mention from a well-being standpoint, I think that sometimes you just feel better when you got a little bit more space to roam around in.
Yeah, so I wanted to like reach back into my village roots of growing up in nearby a mango orchard, but I wanted to bring that village life to suburbia in Delaware, because I wanted this to like be the house that my kids grew up in. So I wanted it to be a very like nature-oriented sanctuary style model of like housing where it has both a public space and a private space for residents. You have visitors, you can like, teach them about gardening and other really important topics that we need as a community to survive.
Now, would this be a place where there's, apartments or something along these lines, or would this be more of a community area, or would it be a combination of both?
So for apartments, I actually wanted to redefine how manufactured housing units are getting installed, in terms of, like we have the standard suburban house and we have the standard apartment building. And I feel like if you go across all of America, that's really the only two types of buildings that you see.
Yeah.
And I wanted to put like third category, which is the multi-generational family home. It's not necessarily for 4 people, it's for 40 people, right? But it's still the family, and you have the same kitchen and you have the same, coming from a large family, I feel that was very appealing to me. And I wanted to redo the manufactured housing for a suburban, like, high-rise building, where you sort of have the high-rise, instead of having each apartment be encoded and, like, created at the site. The manufactured housing model with shipping containers gives us a stackable thing, and we just have to bring it on site and stack it in a very unique configuration.
I like the idea about, multi-generational for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think one of the maybe more challenging things about American culture that I've noticed is we tend to isolate quite a bit. Whereas if you travel the world, I've traveled, you'll notice that there's so many instances where community is almost ever present. Both from a multi-generational standpoint, you have maybe people and generations living in the same area, a family, right? But then also from a community standpoint, you'll have people outside more often. You'll have neighbors that know each other by name, and in many cases that's not the case across the U.S. But then also, if you look at it from an affordable housing perspective, I'm from the East Coast. I'm from 27 miles outside of Manhattan in northern New Jersey. And so I know just how challenging it is for, college graduates, recent college graduates, even 5-year college graduates to qualify for homes where I'm from. It's just I want to say you need about a $220,000 combined household income to qualify for a typical middle-class home out there. And so if you have a space which can hold more people, right, that of course still appreciates, so it's still a real estate asset. I think that kind of fixes multiple problems. It fixes the community and addresses the community aspect while also addressing, providing a space for many people to live.
So one of the best things I love about the coming AI revolution is it lets us rethink how we do society in terms of
If you're looking for consistent, high quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
how do we rearrange and arrange society. And the current model is very much based on the industrial age of factory worker. And that's not really what's needed anymore when you can sit in your basement and work,
Right. So,
right?
I mean, 100%. On that note, I know one of the components of One Lake Drive is this AI philosophy. Uh, talk to us about that and how that came about and where your vision is for that.
So I basically grew up at the intersection of East and West with origins in a Muslim country and having moved to America at a very young age, being brought up in a very Christian country. Growing up in the Pennsylvania, Philadelphia suburbs, you'll notice it's a very religion-based community. There's a Catholic school uh, around in every township almost, and it competes against the public school. Um, so I don't think the school system does education of religion enough justice because historically speaking, the most important knowledge of every civilization was in their holy books. And I wanted to instead focus on like a singular book. I wanted to focus on all of them and say, well, let's do a comparative analysis of every holy book and see what are the skills that everyone has in common. And like, let me learn those skills. And that's kind of where I started 7 years ago in my self-improvement and health and fitness journey of like, hey, can I just, read every philosophy book of religion and see if I can like analyze it with AI and data science and learn the skills that it holds. And I
That's
came up
right.
with like seven. I call them the seven skills of scripture. So the first is the breath. You will survive 30 minutes to 4 minutes without your ability to breathe, should you be so deprived.
Hmm.
And your lungs are kind of like essential operating machines. If they go down, you go down.
That's right.
Blackouts are known to occur if your brain is deprived of oxygen. That's just like simple biology. Um, every religion has some mention of the breath of life, from Genesis to prana in the Eastern Hindu traditions, um, or like the spirit in more Christian books. The Holy Spirit is the breath.
And so there's a lot of overlap, and we talked about this before hopping on. Between this idea of a self-sustaining, self-sufficient space, adding in multi-generational place that can hold a family quite literally, and then also this idea of also having a type of well-being overall holistic uh,
Approach to housing.
approach.
Basically, the idea that a place should not be just one thing. A place should be everything to someone, because that's how it was designed by nature, right? You're
Right.
gonna have animals and trees and plants and other things inhabit the space along with the family that's
One of
living there.
one of the things that I've noticed about ranch life, I'm on a ranch here in North Dallas in a town called Denton, is you can quite easily be so focused on your own stresses, anxieties, worries, right? But then if you go outside and you're looking at goats and cows and chickens, uh, their stresses are so completely unrelated to your own. It does put things in perspective. And one of the things that I have noticed about, we mentioned suburbia, right, is because you're not really surrounded by anything, any other living creatures, or rarely, you might see a deer running somewhere or a squirrel, but it's kind of rare, is you lose you lose sight of that, and so you can quickly and almost unceasingly become anxiety ridden because
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
you're effectively around other anxious people. You yourself may be, anxious, and there's no getaway. There's no, I would say, respite to a landscape that may be, more soothing, quite literally.
So part of the impetus is my wife is a geriatrician, and I spent some time in Brooklyn when she was studying for her internal medicine residency. And I saw like just how sick people got from that city lifestyle of Brooklyn, especially like the food deserts that pop up in New York. By the time you're 65, you're not doing so well,
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
right?
I can relate to that. I don't know if you saw this, but this weekend there was this, I guess, making waves online about there's something like 95,000 100-plus-year-old Japanese nationals
The
currently.
blue zone.
Yeah, and one of the interesting
Uh,
things is, well, why is that, right? And then you compare the foods among many other things, but the foods, and it kind of becomes more clear.
so there's actually like a very well documented study about the blue zones outside of the Japanese culture about like how do people live up to 100 to 120 and in good health. And this is like an entire field of study in healthcare. Like how do Christopher Columbus came to America looking for the fountain of youth. And if you can solve how to get to 100 to 120 in good health, you kind of get there, right?
Yeah, that's probably
Uh,
a good point to start.
So I've discovered from my research that the optimum way to improve your lifespan is through a combination of fasting, movement, and breathing, combined with the right diet and the environment.
Yeah, I think, when it comes to environment, I think a lot of people don't think about that. I think a lot of people wouldn't even address, or maybe it's hard to fathom specifically uh, American culture, right? That your environment could have some type of impact on your lifespan. Because you may think, oh, well, I'm not particularly stressed, or you may not feel that way, but you also have nothing to compare it to. Like, but for instance, before I started living this ranch life, I thought, well, I'm not it's not like I need, cows or chickens or anything for food. We have grocery stores. Why would I need that? But it's not just about that. Like I was
They're
previously saying,
pleasing to
it's
behold, right?
yeah, yeah.
Uh, you get pleasure just from seeing it. You get pleasure from seeing a body of water because you know you'll have water to drink should anything happen.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, uh, the alternative is that you never see it, right? And you begin over time, I think, to sort of forget, or in my case, not see the value in it. Which then I don't know what even the effect of that is, but I don't imagine it's good if you're just used to and comfortable with a kind of very structured, rigid, semi-artificial existence.
Well, I mean, that's what New York City is with Central Park, right? Um, it's a very commercialized, very structured, rigid existence. If I grew up in the desert regions, so like you would go blocks without ever seeing a tree.
Yeah, it's wild. Um, we are coming up on time here, Mudassar. Where can folks go maybe to learn more about One Lake Drive, to get in touch with you? Where can folks go to get in contact with you?
So onelakedrive.com is the sort of temporary website I've set up. It doesn't have a lot of the details on it, but I've put together like a draft website. Hopefully by the time this podcast releases, my full website will be online.
Mudassar, thank you so much for coming on the show here today. Interesting to talk about these topics here with you.
Happy to be online.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.